Hey everyone, this is Helena Hart, and I'm here with my friend and fellow coach Anya Grace again today.
Hey everyone.
We are trying this for the second time. The first time we went live, everyone said there was no sound. So if you guys are watching, if you can let us know if you can hear us and see us, and we will just jump right in case, unless we hear that it's not working this time as well. So today we're super excited. We're going to be talking about the secret combination that makes a man fall in love and stay in love forever and just makes you that one woman that he never wants to live without. Thank you guys so much. We don't know what was going on with the sound the first time. It's different every time. So thank you, Katharina, Casey, Tiffany. We're so excited to see you guys here today. So let's jump right in. First, let's talk about some common misconceptions or myths about what makes a man fall in love and stay in love forever. We see this a lot in the comment sections of some of our videos and other relationship advice videos. Hey guys, thank you so much for your comments. We love you guys so much. A lot of women think that what men really want is a woman who is super giving and nurturing and just like amazing in bed and takes care of his every need in every area. And, that's one conception. A lot of people think that what men want is a woman who's just perfect physically and like supermodel looks and really like smart or educated. I mean, there's all kinds of misconceptions. Anya, have you heard some of these things as well? I'm sure you have.
Yeah, just like that we have this image of what we think we need to fit into as women based on what social media, society, and marketing and all that, what that tells us to be, and it doesn't necessarily line up with where our true power and our true beauty and our true attractability actually comes from. So that's what we're talking about today.
Absolutely. So, and we say it's a secret combination because it's little understood by women and by men, actually. A lot of men, when you kind of embody this combination that we're going to be talking about here in a minute, it's almost like they can't put their finger on it, but they say things like, there's something about her, right? There's something about her where I just want her to be in my life. I never want to be without her. And I just want to keep getting closer and closer. So, hello guys. You guys are so sweet. I'm so glad. I'm so glad this is working now too. So let's jump in, Anya. We don't have that much time today, but what is this combination that makes a man fall in love and stay in love with a woman?
Yes. So the number one thing that men crave, even if they don't know that that's what they're craving, is to experience a woman who has an open heart. And we'll go into what that actually means. But when we as women have access and have tapped into our heart center, and we really have experienced and are okay being within our emotions and our feelings, that a willingness to dive into the heart and contact and communicate and connect on that level is what a man is craving more than anything. And it's what will draw him in and see you as basically like wife material, or that, he'll in experiencing you over time, like let's say you're dating, by experiencing again and again this openness that you have in your heart and the way he feels around that access to those beautiful feelings and emotions that you're helping to communicate with and bring forward in him, that's what basically he keeps thinking about you when you're not around, because when you're with him and when he's with you, there's this sensation, this feeling that's illuminated and activated within him that he can't feel without you. So the number one energy is really to have an open heart. And there's three aspects to having that open heart. One is having an open heart brings us to love. And when we are embodying the frequency of love, and compassion is the second one, and trust. So love, compassion, and trust. And kindness, actually. So there's four. Mm-hmm. Love, compassion, and trust, and kindness. All of these energies that awaken with an open heart are essentially like our core. It's the secret power we have as women, and it's not, as we all know, not something that we're taught to value within us. But that's such a big piece in all of this. And secondly, the other piece is having boundaries.
Right, yeah. So having an open heart and being loving and everything Anya's talking about is so important. It's absolutely crucial. Otherwise, a man can't really get to who you are, right? If you have these walls around you, a man might be attracted to you. Of course, he might want to like chase you and pursue you at the beginning. But if there's nothing to compel him to get close, like he's like, oh, I can't even get to her. I can't see the core of who she is. And of course, this is often happening on a very subconscious level. So a lot of times, neither one of you are aware of it. It's so important, absolutely crucial, but it's not enough in and of itself. It has to be counterbalanced with this other half of the combination, and that is having really high standards and really strong boundaries. I always talk about keeping your boundaries really strong and secure on the inside, which is what allows you to be open and soft and have that open heart and be vulnerable on the outside so that a man can actually get close to you. It's like being strong on the inside and soft and surrendered and feminine on the outside. So it's a little, it's a little counter logical or counterintuitive to what we all want to do. A lot of times when we're not feeling strong and secure on the inside, we like overextend our boundaries and we put walls around us on the outside, thinking that's the best way to protect ourselves. But what happens is, like I mentioned, then a man can't really get close to you, right? Or at least not for very long. So, you guys are so funny. I love, you guys are so funny in the chat. I love it. So that's the combination. And of course, I'm sure that sounds great, but how do you do it, right? If it were that easy, we'd all be doing it already. It can be really difficult, especially if we've been hurt before in the past, which we all have, right? 100% of us have been hurt or devastated, heartbroken by men in the past. So it can be hard to like trust again and give a good guy a chance and the benefit of the doubt. So Anya, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Like, how do you actually come at dating and relationships with an open heart to become that woman that a man never wants to lose?
Yeah. So when we have an open heart, basically we are connected to everything we need. Helene and I were talking about how, when we think we want something on the outside because it's going to make us feel something on the inside, and therefore we will cling on to it or buy it or, go after getting that thing, ultimately not for the thing, but for the feeling that it's going to give us. So when we have an open heart, when we're connected to our heart, there's a source of energy and feeling that is continuously flowing into you that basically gives you everything that you need. And when you have access to everything that you need, you don't really need anything from the outside that you can't create and get on your own. So that essentially, when a man feels that, of course you'll receive his gifts and you'll receive his support and acts of service, but that you ultimately don't need him to feel good about yourself and to feel good about your life. That's a feeling that you're regenerating in every single moment. So you become this self-sufficient, self-contained rock star, just gorgeous, beautiful, poised, elegant being that is continuously generating a feeling of love, compassion, kindness, trust in your body and in your heart. And he'll feel that, you can lean back in any circumstance and feel good about yourself. And so men will really sense that, because that's a quality of a high value woman, is a woman who values herself and can feel good about herself, no matter what's going on around her. And I think it would be great to go into so often it can be, we all have good days and bad days, like days that are more challenging, that we don't feel as great, Mm-hmm. And so what do we do on those days that we don't feel that great? But before I go into that, do you have any points that you want to make?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, that thing about feeling good first, this is more of like a universal thing. I mean, I don't want to go too like big and deeper. I know we don't have like a ton of time, but like the reason we want anything in life, whether that be a great relationship or lots of money or a beautiful home or a family or anything really, is because we think we're going to feel good in the having of it. So if you can open your heart, open up to yourself and to the universe and to that man who's in front of you, if you can basically show yourself that you can feel good without that condition having to be in place, that is when we talk about your true attraction power and you being a magnetic attractor and creator. That's how you do it. When you show yourself that you have control over your own emotional reality, and you don't need that condition to be there. Like, you don't need that man to show up before you feel loved and secure and safe in your life. That's when everything you want can start to flow right to you pretty quickly too. It's kind of amazing how it works. But for the purposes of this topic in this video, a lot of people are asking what that looks like, having boundaries on the inside. And I'm so happy to explain that more if that's confusing. It is, like I said, it's counterintuitive, right? So let me give you some examples. The first one that comes to mind is about sex, because wouldn't you say that's something that we get asked about a lot? So, having your boundaries on the outside. Let's say you are, yes, Tiffany, absolutely. So let's say you're, you've been dating a man, but you haven't slept with him yet, and you're making out and things are feeling really good, and you don't feel comfortable going to that next level yet because you don't know what's going on between the two of you or something like that, right? Having your boundaries on the outside would just be like, well, no, I don't have sex with a guy unless I'm in a relationship, right? And it's almost like he just smacks right up against your walls, and it's almost taking that masculine action towards you is almost like a disrespectful bid or step towards you, right? Rather than having your boundaries on the inside would be something like, this feels incredible. I love kissing you. It feels so good being with you. And I can't wait to take things to the next level. I can't wait to sleep with you. And, that's really something that I feel comfortable doing within the context of an exclusive relationship. And I'm so looking forward to that when we get there, after getting to know each other better. Or that's something that, I feel comfortable doing once I feel really deeply connected to someone. And, I can't wait to get there with you, or something like that. Obviously, every situation is different. But one, you're just saying, nope, I don't have sex unless I'm in a relationship. Second one, you're saying the same thing, but you're doing it, you're sticking to that really strong boundary on the inside, feeling secure within yourself, but you're open, you're soft, and if you're giving him something he can get later if he puts in, some time and effort and creates a deep connection with you, or the two of you obviously creating it together, right? So hopefully that was helpful. So let's see. Thank you. He's very respectful. We both decided to wait. Yeah, absolutely. But don't use boundaries as a catalyst to make him commit. Yeah, Stephanie, I could not agree with you more. That's such an important point. I was actually just about to say that. It's like, you read my mind. Yeah, you don't want to be trading sex for the commitment, because it creates this dynamic that's not healthy, right? So focus on the connection, right? And because a lot of times the guy will say, okay, sure, like I'll be your boyfriend, prematurely before that connection has been built, and then you sleep together. And then that's when, a couple weeks later, the reality hits him like, oh, I don't know if I'm quite ready for a relationship, or I made this commitment and the sex is happening, but there's no foundation for a deep connection. I heard this great analogy once that you need to tend to the soil, that's the connection, and the fence around the two of you, around the relationship, is like the commitment. So if you want that commitment, focus on the connection, right? Now there's actually something for him and you to commit to, right? So, a lot of women, the reason I phrased it that way is a lot of women need to know that they're at least sexually exclusive with a man before sleeping with him. They want to know that, he's not out there pursuing other women, right? And so there's different stages of this. Some women need certain things in order to have sex. Some women need other things, but that's kind of an example in terms of how to keep your boundaries on the inside. If you guys have other scenarios though, I can give you examples with that too. So let's see, I slept with him in the first 2 weeks. We dated for 3 months. Then I was in a car accident. He came to see me and he said he loved me, and I haven't heard from him for 2 weeks now. That is devastating. My heart goes out to you. How did you not know? Did you only know him for a couple weeks, or had you been dating for a while? Dated for 3 months. If something happens within the first, I'd say 4 to 6 months, something big like that, and a guy can't handle it and he disappears and you can't get a hold of him, or I don't know the details of your situation. So I knew him for 3 months. Yeah, exactly. It was before that kind of 4 to 6 month period. Of course, every situation is different. Nothing we say is super black and white. If something big happens in your life, you have a family member pass away, or an accident, or you get sick or something like that, if a man disappears and that doesn't cause him to like want to step forward and be there for you and support you, that is really good information for you to have, right? I certainly would never want anyone to be with a man who couldn't handle, those things that happen in life, right? Anya, what are your thoughts on that?
And just in those moments where, I'm sure you have emotional connection to him, and it might be painful that he is stepping back and not leaning in. Those questions come up like, did I do something wrong? What's going on? I have no idea. Just to remember that, like Helena said, just witness and watch him, and rather than turn it to what did I do wrong, or did I not do something that I needed to, just allow it to be more on, don't go directly to it's your fault, and just watch to see what he's doing and say to yourself, okay, these behaviors are not making me feel safe and good, and therefore I'm less interested in this person. Rather than the tables being turned where he's not as interested in you, it's like, I'm not as interested in him because, he's not showing up for me in the way that I need. So it's turning me off to that relationship. And that can just be a good habit to get yourself in, rather than giving your power away again and again. If somebody's like not leaning in, it's like, okay, he's not leaning in. That's not something that I want to feel. So I'm not as interested in this. If he decides to show up, awesome. I have it remained open in my heart, and I'm open to see what's possible, but I'm not going to like pine after him in any way.
Absolutely. Yeah. Someone else said, I was the one who wanted to move faster than he did. He was honest with me about how he needs to have a deep connection. Yeah. So a lot of this goes both ways. Just like you want to be with a man who has an open heart and who gives you the benefit of the doubt and trusts you, that, trust that you're making good decisions for yourself. And, a man like that, and also a man who has boundaries and isn't a doormat and sticks to his boundaries. A lot, these are things you want to look for in a man as well. So yeah, absolutely. I emailed you. I really want to set up a phone session with you. Okay, I will check that after we get done here. So many comments popping up. It's so hard to keep up with them. So if you guys have questions about what we just said, let me know. Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So when Helena was talking about like having internal boundaries, it struck me as we were talking, getting to know what you need and then learning how not to it's more powerful. Like somebody who really holds power doesn't need to tell you that they're powerful. You just know it based on their mannerisms and their ways of being and their energy. Like, let's say really successful CEOs or presidents of a board, I have no idea. But people in high powered positions, oftentimes they have a lot of respect. And it's not because they're up there saying, hey, I have the power, like, listen to me and respect me. That would actually diminish their power, right? People wouldn't respect them as much. They would look at them and be like, ugh, I don't want to follow that person. Whereas the most successful people who have true power and the authentic, where people authentically want to follow them, are interested in them and have that attractive ability, are ones who embody this magnetism. And so the way to, let's say, communicate your boundaries in new relationships, practice getting really clear about what feels good to you, and be comfortable being able to voice them, but also learning how to embody them and bring them into your physical self, so that it's not something that you even have to say, it's just a known fact, where you begin to walk through the world and you walk through the door and people turn their head and they look at you and they feel the level of poise and grace and self-dignity that you hold. Because if you activate those energies within you, the world will respond to that. And there won't have to be a conversation about, having sex after the second date. It will just be a no-brainer. Like, it will just be it won't come up, because you won't attract people who are at a frequency that isn't fully respecting of you. If that's something that doesn't feel good to you in your life, so you'll just begin to attract like higher vibration experiences as you it's that quiet confidence. You don't have to yell it out, you embody it and people feel it all around you.
Yeah. I mean, I love that you said that. I talk so much about, being a high value woman, or at least demonstrating your value, because we believe all of you are high value women, right? It's a woman who truly knows her value deep down, doesn't need to say it, right? She doesn't need to walk up to a guy and say, I'm a high value woman. You need to treat me accordingly. And here's what I need you to do. A woman who truly knows her value and has these strong boundaries on the inside, is soft and open on the outside, doesn't need to say anything. It's like her vibe and her energy, she would instinctively feel turned off. If a man was dishonest, someone here was asking about dishonesty, she would instinctively feel turned off if a man wasn't treating her well. If he disappeared, absolutely, she would feel, she'd probably feel hurt at first, of course, but then she would kind of get bored and lose interest with a man who's like hot and cold, right? Always has some issue that prevents him from being with her and things like that. So yeah, it's not something you have to say. When you embody this combination we're talking about, it's something a man can feel on a very deep level, and no conversation about it ever really needs to be had, right?
Yeah, I want to say too, just with the comments that are coming up, we go through phases and waves in our lives. Some weeks, some months will feel really powerful and strong, and other times we'll feel maybe a little bit more insecure, and some stuff is coming up, and we tend to want to resist those moments. And our goal, obviously, for you all is to step into your power and know your worth and value on a consistent basis. But of course, like I had a few days ago, I was like so insecure, and all this stuff was coming up, and I think it's just really important to not judge yourself for these processes that you're going through. And there was something specific here. You'll go through seasons, like that saying, like, when it rains, it pours. I've noticed sometimes in my life, like there'll be times where in the past where there were like no guys that I felt like I was connecting to. And then suddenly there were all these guys and it was like, okay, I look back, and that time where I was a little bit more inward and independent, that was a really beautiful time. I needed to be on my own, So in response to like building your life, I think a high value life. I actually also live in LA and I teach yoga, so that's cool. Whoever said that.
Yeah, that was a great question. Yeah, let's talk about that one.
Yeah, and I don't know if I got that question exactly, but
if I can find it.
By basically, challenge yourself. We always need to expand and do different things. Maybe you love yoga, but you really want to start dancing, and so you start to take dance classes. Or maybe you're a runner, but you want to explore, rock climbing or something like that. Like starting to go after these things in your life that you have always wanted to do. When you're focused not so much into the relationships, and you're busy meeting people and strangers and contacting other parts of the world and yourself, you start to, again, access that heart. You're feeling fulfilled. Your life is flowing, and you're generating everything you need from the inside out. So everybody that you come in contact with, again, will feel that from you, and they won't feel like you're this kind of needy, empty, like desperate person. Your life is full. So does that help to answer that question at all?
I think that was brilliant. I love that. Yeah. Viviana asked a great question too. I wonder if you could sense these things before they happen. How about red flags? Yeah, I would actually love to hear from you guys. I know personally, something, and I'm not saying that like without evidence, but sometimes you get a little evidence of something and your intuition, like alarm bells go off in your head, but you kind of ignore that, right? Because you really like the guy, you have strong chemistry, and the attraction just takes you over. And then a few months down the line, or maybe a year down the line or something, you find out that your intuition was right all along. Oh my gosh, I've certainly been there so many times. I would love to hear from you if you have too, with things like, oh, like he drinks a little too much, or I don't like the way he handles himself after a few drinks, or he seems to have a lot of women hanging around, or he says he's friends with his ex-girlfriend, but they seem to spend a lot of time together, and or things like that, right? Have you guys experienced that? And then you kind of just go, oh, well, maybe it's nothing. And then you find out that your intuition was right all along. So yeah, you'll get really good at this. And it's not about not trusting a guy and having all these walls around you, like we said, and not giving anyone a chance. But just listen to that. If something in your body tells you that something doesn't feel right here, I'm not feeling very good about myself or about the situation, listen to that. Really listen to that, and just be a little more cautious before you invest yourself so much. Mm-hmm. Right? Would you say that?
Yeah. And first date was me showing up just as I am and not trying to be anything. He is definitely really, really into me. We love to hear that. That's exactly it. And And this trick, I love to talk about it. When you're on, let's say, a first date, you have the power to basically, any guy that you're with, like, you have the power to be that girl he's never experienced before by applying this secret combination, this open heart and these strong, clear, self-contained boundaries. But I love to do this, and it doesn't have to just be on a first date, but also like in an interview or speaking on stage, I'll do this where I connect with my sense of love. I connect with my heart. I open it. I allow myself to feel unconditional love for myself and for other people. I generate love and the sensation of confidence and courage and just all these good feelings you have the power to generate in your own self right now. Like, just lengthen your spine and sit up a little taller and feel your heart open. Take a deep breath in. And you'll feel yourself suddenly like experience your power in a new way. If you start to walk around just opening your chest up, then, and being, kind of more exposed and vulnerable and open to the world, but you have at the same time this energetic boundary around you where you know what you will receive and what you won't. You know what you will take and what is not allowed in your space and in your environment. And it's invisible. It's like this invisible force field. And I like to say it's the inner masculine that is creating this boundary around. So when you're on a first date, let's say, and you're leaning back and your heart is open and that heart is magnetic. So it's pulling that guy towards you and into you. And he's leaning in because he feels the love that you're emitting. And at the same time, you activate this I call it that, like the inner man, that your inner male partner who's constantly there to protect you. And to provide this boundary that will only let energies and people and experiences that are for your highest good, that really, that honor you, that's the only thing that's allowed in. So he's sitting here, you're leaning back, your heart is open, he's leaning in because he feels your love and your compassion, right? And your kindness, those 3 words. And at the same time, he senses there's like a little bit of a, not a wall, but there's a little bit of, he can't just access you. He can't just reach in there and have access to your heart, right? He feels how open you are, and he also feels that he needs to elevate to this level of deep honor and dignity in order to experience you.
He has to rise up to your level to be in your world. It's really attractive. And of course, It's not about being high maintenance or a princess or like trying to play hard to get or being inauthentic. I love that. Anything else you want to say on that? It's so important.
Just that, there was something where I can't remember though.
Stephanie has a great comment. She says, having the vibe that if he wants to walk away, then it's what's right. Selling yourself makes him wonder what you're hiding underneath the front. Yeah, I totally agree. Moonlit says quiet confidence. Robbie says, perfect example. Britt says, this is so valuable. It's hard to know how to be high value. Thank you. I'm coming back to single. I've never heard this info. Yeah, it's so interesting that that's why we call it the secret combination. It's like, why isn't this taught to everybody? I certainly didn't learn this until maybe less than 10 years ago, So I don't know why we were brought up placing our worth and value on other things other than who we are and our energy. But we're so happy to be talking about it now, right?
Yeah. And I think, we as women are the feminine energy, I'll say instead. The feminine energy in all of us is so very powerful. And yet it has been not seen and understood for that power, And so we see a lot of how the feminine has been manipulated into a very weak, and it can be used and abused and not, valued for what it truly is. So that's our intention in being here, is to bring back the truth of your power and help you align back with what true feminine power looks like. Should we tell them about the system?
Yes. Let's do that. I'm just scrolling through these questions. So many popped up that we totally missed. So, do you want to talk about it for a second?
Yes. So Helena and I put together a system. It's called the Feminine Empowerment System. And actually today is really the official, complete release day of it. And it is absolutely amazing. There are 5 training videos about, how about you go through them, because I won't be able to.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, yeah. So I'm just, so many questions popped up, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're missing them. Yeah, thank you guys so much for all your questions. Whenever we look over here, we're just reading comments. I know it looks so weird on the video. It's like We laugh so hard sometimes watching, or like if we watch it just to see how it's doing with the sound off, like what we look like. It's
funny.
just such a funny thing. Such a funny thing. Anyway, yeah, so the feminine empowerment system goes really deep into the five core aspects of your feminine energy, right? That is experiencing the present moment, feeling, connecting to your heart and emotions, trusting, allowing, and receiving, right? Core feminine qualities that we want to help you activate within yourself. And we actually did a live stream yesterday on the number one shortcut to your feminine energy and true magnetic attraction power. And we'll just let you know that secret here on this live stream, through connecting, being in your body. And we talked about it in terms of meditation. So as part of our feminine empowerment system, we have these training videos, then we have 5 meditations, one corresponding to each of those aspects of your feminine energy that Anya so brilliantly put together so well. And it's also infused with sound healing technology. And if you guys are interested in that, we can talk some more about exactly how that works. We talked a lot about this in yesterday's live stream, so I'll include a link to that in the description. But to really get you in, like immediately right into your feminine energy, where you can start to attract what you want, not just in your love life, but in all areas of your life. So that's actually on pre-sale right now. We just released it yesterday. So we'll include a link to that, I guess, after we publish this. It's not out anywhere on my website yet, other than this link that we're sending you guys. So if you want to get it at the pre-sale price, super inexpensive. We just want to make it available to like the whole world because we just think it's so important. Like, I forgot who it was. I believe Britt was saying that a lot of people aren't taught this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the feminine empowerment system, if you guys are interested in that.
And there actually are, it's literally called the hidden mysteries. It's like this wisdom and knowledge that has been hidden by most of the world because it's so powerful. And right now what's happening is a lot of that is being shared. And part of the meditations are bringing in aspects of that. It's what not a lot of people have access to. And yet if you are able to, open yourself to the possibility of experiencing these things, then you basically get to have these downloads of this hidden wisdom and this hidden power that you have always held within you, but perhaps it's been hidden from you, and trapped and locked away. And so we're unlocking that. And the part of this talk right here today is all about, unlocking the heart. And when we are accessing your deeper feelings of love, compassion, and kindness, and having that simultaneous boundary, there's no way that you will not walk through your life with a sense of self-power and self-confidence. And that is like the most attractive thing to witness in anybody. Like we are not attracted to guys who are kind of that like weak, insecure, don't value themselves, right? Same thing. It's vice versa. Like as women, the more we value ourselves, the more confident we are. It's just undeniably attractive. And so that's what, just by listening to these meditations and obviously applying the trainings, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, but the meditations really do the work for you. They really do, especially with the sound healing that Anya infused over it. You'll hear it when you listen to them. It just gets you right there. It just gets you to this place. It's like a shortcut right into that feminine energy where you'll just go through your day like totally radiant. You will notice a difference right away is the feedback we're getting. Moonlit asks a really interesting question. When I'm in my feminine, why do I become more quiet? That is really interesting. I think that happens to me too. And it's almost like it's a quiet, someone earlier said quiet confidence. Oh, Moonlit said that, quiet confidence. True, like feminine empowerment and feminine confidence is more quiet and calm, right? You don't need that constant attention and validation. And sometimes we can verbally fill that space when we're up in our heads, in our masculine energy, trying to make something happen, right? If you guys have ever been with a guy that you liked or on a date with someone you're attracted to, and there's those awkward pauses in conversation, we tend to want to like fill those in because we want the guy to like us and all those things, but just being comfortable with the silence is so powerful. It's like this almost like rumble of thunder not in a like ominous way, but in a super powerful way. Right before we started, Anya was talking about the movie Wonder Woman, how she kind of embodied this combination we're talking about. This would be a perfect time for that.
So with that question specifically too, when we're having a conversation with someone, we're actually having intercourse. One person is talking, and that's projection, it's penetration, it's movement of energy. It's literally like frequencies of sound are moving through the air and they're hitting our little bones in our ears and moving those bones so that we can hear and process what that person is saying. So there's penetration that's happening and activating literally our biology, our body is activating us, that sound. So when you're quiet, you are allowing yourself to be penetrated. You're allowing yourself to receive, hopefully, love. And so it's really, there's so many amazing comments and questions today. It's so good. It's like, oh, such good content.
I know.
And and so with Wonder Woman, most of you guys, I'm sure, have seen this, except Helena hasn't.
I know. I still have to.
What's my favorite movie? Actually, I'll tell you, when I was first, I was so obsessed with Wonder Woman. Was like, it was such a big part of my life. Anyway, I won't go into that in this moment. But sorry, I got distracted.
I'm gonna get it down there.
So obviously Wonder Woman is epic and powerful, like undeniably empowered as a woman. And what I love about her, I mean, she's incredibly embodied, right? She's strong. She's connected to her physical body. She's flexible. She's physical. She's very physical. And I also love that it didn't make her like stick thin. Like she has substance to her, you know? And when I think of fertility, which is actually a really deep feminine word that we don't talk about too often, fertility of thought, fertility of ideas, fertility of creativity, all of fertility is deep within the feminine. And like her body itself, there's a deep fertile energy to her. But more specifically, she's tapped into love. She's tapped into her heart. And every action that she takes comes from love. It comes from this, feeling something and then acting upon that because it's so important to her. So she doesn't operate from her head, and she doesn't just operate just from her body. She taps in here constantly. And there's a scene where she, there's a little baby, and she like runs over to the baby and she picks up and holds the baby because it's so sweet. And so it's like she's so connected to these her feeling of love and compassion. And that's part of her power. It's part of what causes people to be on her side and want to move on her mission with her, because she's moved by something deeper than just like her willpower or her ego. It's this deep feeling. And then there was a moment, and this was, oh my gosh, I went to see this movie when it came out, and afterward I literally went to my room and wrote for like 2 hours just about all the symbolism that was occurring and how powerful it was for the masses to see what's on the screen. Because actually, when we're watching movies or listening to audio, when we're being penetrated through our senses, our subconscious mind is being activated and being implanted with different stories, with different seeds that will then create and birth and blossom from whatever we plant in our subconscious mind. So I was so excited that these empowering images were being implanted in so many of our subconscious minds. But there was one scene, and then I'm done with this story, but there was one scene where at the very end, and hopefully you guys have seen it, I'm not giving it away, but she puts her hands over her heart, literally or I don't think she does, but I think maybe she does, but she literally closes her eyes and she drops into her heart. And there's this flashing scene of her connecting with like her love, the person that she's in love with. And she feels love. Like I have the chills right now, because that feeling of being in love and having that energy activated in her heart is what gives her the power. And she does it by closing her eyes, like I just did, to feel it, right? Because it's generating from within. So when we close our eyes, we access this inner world. And she closes her eyes and she feels that sense of love. And then from inside out, she just expands with so much power and light. And that light is what, it ends the scene and everything. But that's her greatest moment of power. And it originates from her ability to drop into her heart and open it and feel love. So your power as a woman is connected to your heart. And that is to walk around in the world and to love yourself, to practice self-compassion and acceptance and to just work on feeling love as much as possible, that is the number one thing. I have another personal example, I'll tell it later, that will make a man fall in love with you. Like it's true. And I know this from my own personal experience and what I had before I opened my heart and what wasn't working, you know? And when that happened, like everything changes.
You are like that. Like Anya like exudes love. I tell you that like so often. Like the first time I like met her in person, like she just like, you could just like feel it. It was like a force, like it was like a love coming at you. It was you totally have this whole thing down. It's so funny.
I didn't always have it though. So.
Lauren says, I've been learning to love myself too, which allows me to keep my boundaries. Clear in my mind. This writing is so tiny. It's so hard to see everything. Let's see. Britt says, all I've ever heard is to value yourself, but no one ever gave you directions on how. Yeah, that's kind of a pet peeve of mine when coach, you know, certain information out there is like, oh, just love yourself and be yourself. And then that's the key to everything. It's like, well, if it was that easy, we'd all be doing it, right? So that's what we hopefully tell you, give you very specific steps and tools and these meditations, obviously, to how to actually love every single piece of yourself.
Let's answer Michelle because she came on late. That was the second time. So the secret combination is to open your heart and to access love, compassion, and kindness, and to simultaneously remain open in your heart, but also create this high level boundary of your worth and your value. And so that people can't just get that gift of your heart unless they rise up to that.
And we've really found that some people are good at one and not the other. Some people are super loving and they're almost like they give too many allowances to men who don't treat them well. Or there's people who just have such strong boundaries on the outside, those walls that no one can get close. So there's a lot of people on this end of the spectrum, super feminine and soft, but their energy is all over a guy, or people who are so keeping everyone at arm's length. And so we want you up here with the combination. If you think of it as like a triangle rising up to that center with both of those. Viviana says, I wish I could tell you how many things I've experienced and starting listening to your videos. Helena, I'm so glad I found you. Once you empower yourself, you will never go back. Oh my gosh. It's so true. I feel like that should be like a disclaimer. Like there is no going back. There is no going back.
Yeah, that's cute.
There just can't, like, you just know too much now, right? There's no going back to the old way of doing things. Sounds great, Anya. The strong, feminine, beautiful place to be. Let's see. Wonder Woman.
Oh, she is. I'm always pretty much every Halloween. I'm usually Catwoman. I like to be one of the superheroes.
Wonder Woman personas. I like.
She does attract so many men. She does.
Yeah. Absolutely. Such a great example. Everyone says Wonder Woman's a great example. Expansion, power, connection, love, acceptance, freedom. I love this. Yes. Thank you, Tiffany. Absolutely. Plus women give birth. You make all the people. Oh, and he likes your shirt too. Yeah. Every time we go somewhere and she's wearing that shirt, people like stop her in the street and they're like, where did you get that shirt? How does one reconcile her insecurities and self-compassion? Oh, I know we're talking a lot about self-compassion, right? Do you have anything to say on that quickly?
Yeah. So when we open our heart, when we open our heart, basically we connect with love. So what we mean by open your heart is close your eyes and go in, or go to the meditations that we made. And love will start to arise. When love is present in your life, fear runs away. Fear comes in when love will just not really give place for fear. It's just kind of exits. Like fear is like, oh, I can't handle this. Like, I'm out. And when you are absent of fear, thank you. When you're, I love that it helps us so much just hide things easily. When you're absent of fear, you can feel trust. And as we know, trust is a highly feminine energy to embody. So what I want to say with, just the insecurities, and this is my personal example. So when I was just learning how to meditate, I was in college and I did this meditation where I would every single morning put my hands over my heart. And I go into this in some of the training videos I've done in the past. And there will be some for our empowerment system too. There's an energy center within your palms that you can put over your heart, and I would essentially just activate love. And I don't want to tell you exactly how to do that right now. I don't have time, but by generating love, and it's not that hard, you can figure it out. And meditating on love, like what does it feel like? What does it, where does it feel, and where do I feel love in my body? Is it in my throat, my chest, my forehead? And just focusing on generating that feeling enough that it filled up. It was the first time in my life personally where my insecurity just disappeared. Like there was no place to feel unworthy because I was feeling full from the inside out. Love was what I was really wanting to feel in my life, and my insecurities were coming from my lack of feeling that. And so when I filled it up, I felt self-love. I didn't need anything from anybody else anymore. And my insecurities started to go away. And of course I still have them, we all do, but now there's this tool of, okay, let me focus on my heart and activate. And what would happen is this was in the morning, I was in college, and there's a guy at the time who I had a crush on. We'd gone to New York together. It was like this thing. We were really good friends, and he liked me and I didn't like him. And then I fell in love with him basically, and he didn't like me at that point. And so it was always this sort of, I was leaning in and he was leaning back. It was that uncomfortable feeling. And after starting his meditations, I would go to the base of campus and he was always there. We had the same class time. And so we would meet there basically. And I remember there was a shift that happened the week I started this meditation practice. He was like, something's different about you. Like, well, you seem really good. What's going on? And I just I didn't say anything. I just smiled internally. And I was like, yeah, I know. There was just this shift that had happened because I was generating what I needed. I didn't need anything from him. I could care less what he was giving me or not giving me. I was like, I'm good, So it filled up those places of insecurity, and I replaced it with unconditional love for myself. And so there's so much more in terms of healing, like compassion, self-compassion is really huge, and self-kindness. If you're hard on yourself, or we're going to do a whole thing probably on helping women heal their relationships with food and their body. Because for a long time, I had huge struggles with that. And it was really kindness, on the days that I ate 17 cookies or 5 pieces of pizza or whatever, that rather than beating myself up, I replaced that with kindness. And so that's another really powerful way to move away from our insecurities.
Yeah, someone else earlier was asking about how to do that. So I'm glad you said that. Let's see. Lauren says, it seems like having a big heart and compassion, people call you a doormat and are too nice. Yeah, that's why it's super important. You might have just jumped on now, but at the beginning we said it's not enough in and of itself. It needs to be balanced with the other half of this combination, which is having super strong boundaries on the inside, knowing what you will and will not tolerate and accept. Basically being, a super high value woman, having that belief and then acting according to that belief. So hopefully that helped to clarify that. Tiffany says, that's so true, Anya. It's that feeling. Most of the times other people can feel it and see it too. Find yourself being okay no matter what. Yeah, no matter what a man or anyone is doing or not doing, it's like you're unshakable when you have this combination. It's like you're totally unshakable. And that's what the feminine empowerment system is all about, being, so empowered within yourself that a man naturally feels the urge to step up and meet you where you are. Or if not, if he's not capable of that, we were talking the other night about if he doesn't have that makeup within himself to be that kind of man that wants to live in your world or is able to, he just falls away and a better, more empowered masculine man steps in, a better match for you, I should say. So that's what we wanted to share today. We're at the bottom of the comments. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we close out?
No, really. I mean, when we just that aspect of when we feel love and compassion and kindness, our fear runs away and those insecurities begin to not have space. And that is when we can really drop into trust. And we trust that our life is going to work out. We trust that partner, our dream lover is going to show up. We trust that money is going to show up in our life. We trust. When we're in a place of trust, we're in a place of empowerment, because we know we don't have to worry, and we then make choices that are based in that place of abundance and strength. We are Wonder Woman. We embody that. We are the elevated woman. We embody that, and it's a choice as much, So I really, in a way, I do a lot of energy stuff. So I really feel, I know a lot of you guys have been watching these videos consistently, and I literally feel the shift that has happened when I first started doing these videos.
Me too, actually.
You guys are like really getting it. So I just want to acknowledge you for all of your implementation and embodiment of what we're saying. That's really the true power. It's not just in learning it here, it's in taking it into your life. I really do feel like a shift has happened, and like what you're saying, and it's really cool.
That's so funny that you just said, because I was about to say, oh man, you guys get this, don't you? Like, you guys get this. You are this. All of you are this. Amy says, thank you for this video. I got the point of dropping in my heart and feeling that love inside. Very beautiful. Yeah, it's a visceral feeling within you. And that's what the meditations, that's what the meditations do for you, right? It's one thing to have the knowledge. It's quite another thing to get it down literally into every cell of your body. And with the sound, especially with the sound healing that's infused on top of these audio meditations, it really like penetrates your subconscious mind. At least that's the experience I had with listening to the meditations that Anya created for this program. I don't want to make a claim that's not like true, but does it help to really like penetrate your subconscious patterns and belief systems? And that's how you actually rewire your thoughts. It truly is, right, Anya?
Yeah, it all begins in the subconscious, which is the arena of the divine feminine. The conscious mind is more the masculine, and the subconscious is deeper, under the surface thoughts and feelings. That's where our power really, that's what's running everything. That's what's running our life. So we can learn how to work with that through meditation, sound, just being in a state of relaxation. Like, you can't really step up into your true power as a woman unless you learn how to relax. We talked about that yesterday. Because when we're relaxed, we're in a receptive mode. We can actually become gentle and soft and not hard and physical, which is more of the masculine. And we access energy, and our power is in our energy. Our value is energetic. It's not in our accomplishments or our accolades or how much money we have or what our, anything. It is who we are. There's a great quote. People remember the way you make them feel, not what you say, but the way that you make them feel, or something like that. And it is, that's part of your power as a woman. It's, you want to leave a man feeling love and kindness and compassion, and that being around you elevates them, that you are a high value woman. You have these boundaries and these expectations, and it's huge.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, we never, ever, ever want you guys to think that we're trying to get you to feel good without the results, because as a result of everything Anya's saying, you will absolutely get those results you want. You will. It's inevitable. It's just a matter of time once you learn to activate these 5 core feminine qualities within you, or energies. And so the results will follow. But if you can get yourself to feel good, to be love and radiance and the security and safety that you're seeking, embody that, and be that first radiated out, this does feel like results, because you will get those results. But you have to make those shifts within yourself first. You have to feel good within yourself first before everything else will follow. So do you guys have any other questions or comments? I'm hoping, a quick recap of what the secret combination is. I'll get that one.
Okay, the secret combination is open heart. Your power is in your open heart, because when you have an open heart, you can access the frequency and the emotion and the feeling of love, compassion, and kindness. And when you have those 3 energies, that is the thing that men so are craving. That is the power of the divine feminine. Every man wants to be immersed in the divine feminine. So that's like, those are one of the 3 biggest aspects of the divine feminine power. And secondly, to wrap up all of that gift that you are and all of your heart in a high value boundary. So that is the secret combination.
Yeah, it's almost like your own masculine energy being in service to your feminine energy, all of that love and compassion, and right? Feminine empowerment program made up of, oh, great question. Yeah. So it's, sorry if we didn't explain that more clearly. We're just so excited to tell you guys about it. It's, it is, what quote are you talking about?
People won't remember what you say. They will remember the way you make them feel. I think it's Eleanor Roosevelt or something.
I've heard that before.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. I love it.
Woman, powerful. I forget that.
Amazing. Yeah. So feminine empowerment system, it is, we go into 5 aspects of your core feminine energy, right? That is experiencing the moment, feeling, trusting, allowing, and receiving. So we have a training video on each of those 5 feminine energy qualities, plus a meditation, a corresponding meditation. So it's 5 training videos, 5 meditations. They're all about 10 to 15 minutes each. And the meditation is infused with these crystal bowl sound healing technology. We can talk some more about that in a later video, right? Designed to really activate these aspects within yourself that are already inside of you, just waiting to be activated and uncovered, so you can start to attract everything we're talking about here easily, the feminine energy way, right? Not this masculine way of going out and trying to get it. In yesterday's live stream, I kind of explained that so many of us we feel like we're right here and we want to be here. So rather than starting at the basis, at the core, like by meditating, by starting at the core foundation of who you are, and then everything you want comes to you, you attract it with your feminine energy. What a lot of people do is they just jump right in the middle without tending to this foundation first, and then they try to make it up with action, right? They try to make something happen, go after a man, even in very subtle ways. And if you've ever tried that, you guys know it doesn't work, right? It just pushes him away. So rather than going out and getting what you want, you prepare yourself here, you do these meditations, you activate these parts of yourself, then everything you want that's over there comes over here. It's attracting rather than going out and acquiring, trying to make it happen.
It's like getting a massage or going to the spa, versus going to a workout class. It's like, okay, let me focus on restoration and anti-inflammation and relaxing as a way to lose weight, versus like basically making my body more intense, more stressed out to lose weight, or whatever you want, whatever your goal is. And that, like, it literally will create the kind of similar results, but one is a lot more connected to the feminine energy, and the other is a lot more connected to the masculine energy. So this is a way to literally practice being in the feminine energy while you activate your feminine energy.
I love that. So Olwen says, empowering open heart with love, compassion, and kindness. Wrap this gift in a high value boundary. Amazing. That sums it up perfectly. Renee, is the program available now? Yes. It's not, you can't find it on my website yet because it's still in pre-sale. So yeah, we will, we'll probably wrap this up now, publish this, then we'll post a link in the description. If everyone's watching the replay of this, it's in the description. It'll be the first link right below this video. And thank you, how you can hear smiles over phone calls. Yeah, it's that energy and that vibe that a man is feeling from you, that the whole world's feeling from you, right? Not so much the exact words themselves. So many women ask us, like, what do I say to a guy? What if he disappeared, then came back? What do I say? A lot of times it doesn't really matter what you say, because what he's hearing is your vibe and your energy, right? And so that's why we talk so much about authenticity and the universe too. Thinking that it hears what you mean, it hears your vibe and your energy. That's why affirmations don't work unless you truly believe them. I've really found it. It's the energy that you're putting out there, not the words themselves. Ashley says, I love the spiritual direction of this channel. Empowered feminine is a quality of higher consciousness. Yes.
And feminine energy is spiritual. I mean, it's energetic. Like, it's feminine is spirit, so it's the energy, the softness, the subtleness, the vibrations. That is, that it has to be. There's no distinction between that spiritual power that we hold and our power.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Ashley, you literally just made my day, made my whole week, because this, Anya knows this about, but this is truly my passion, what I've always really wanted to be talking about. So I think the other day she's like, it's so cool because it's like you've been in hiding. Even though I post videos pretty much every day, I feel like what I actually really am the most passionate about, just, I don't know. I'm just starting to talk about it now. So I'm super, it's super, like, we have so much to say. We are just getting started. So I'm glad you guys like these videos and we hope you enjoy them. We're just getting to like the top of the hour. I know you have to get going too. So we'll go ahead and close out and post the link to the Feminine Empowerment System.
You also get an e-guide and a bonus of Helena's courses.
That's right. Yeah. So it's about a 10-page PDF that goes with the program, and also a bonus, a conscious creation tool from my Feminine Art of Attraction program if you want to attract love and money, because it's the same energy in both. And I have so much to say. Someone earlier was asking me about how to use your feminine energy to attract success and money. And that's like totally my favorite thing to talk about. I just think there's no reason for anyone to have financial problems. Like, that's my belief. And we're going to show you exactly how to do that if you're interested in how to use your feminine energy to really attract everything you want in life and feel great about it. So that's what we have in store for you guys. We hope you enjoyed this. Have a great rest of the weekend. I can't believe it's like dark already. This is crazy. It's not even 5 o'clock yet.
I'm moving to my new LA apartment.
Yes. So yes. So super busy day. We got to run. Have a great weekend, and we will hopefully talk with you guys soon.